What is up, comic book community? My name is Joe, and this is 360 Comics. Sorry I haven't put out a full-length video in over a month. Things have been crazy in my personal life, in my work life, in my comic book life, but they're finally calming down, smoothing out, hopefully, and I'll be back to regular videos. Anyway, I picked up a collection recently. It was a pretty cool one. This is going to be the first video of 2 parts because it is just that cool that it deserves 2 parts, and they're very different from each other. Little hint as to what's to come. Today we're going to go over the Marvel and DC books that are in this collection. Don't forget, once we hit 3,500 followers here on YouTube, we're going to be giving away this book right here, Department of Truth, #1 in a CBCS 9.8. If you want to enter to win, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and leave a comment down below. And you can check out our other videos, like them, and leave comments on them for additional entries. Make sure you go give me a follow over on Instagram as well, because we're doing a huge 10,000 follower giveaway soon. We're inching towards that, probably about 500 away at the moment, so I gotta decide on a prize, and I'll be announcing that shortly. Good luck. So in addition to the interesting content in this collection, it also has an interesting backstory, and I'll keep it brief, but this is just too cool that I have to talk about it. So anyway, this collection was amassed by a guy who had been collecting for decades. In fact, I found eBay slips from the 90s. Yeah, this guy was buying off eBay in the early years of the website in the 1990s. There were comic books that ranged from the golden age into the 2000s. So it was a massive span of stuff. And basically what happened was this guy was unfortunately going to lose his house. And, you know, from what I'm told, the neighbors, the next door neighbors of this guy, they stepped up. They did him a huge solid and made sure that he could stay in this house for the rest of his life. They paid off his debts. They figured things out for him. And in return, he left everything to them. I guess he didn't have, you know, family to leave things to, so he left everything to them, including this massive comic book collection that was all over this house, apparently. They kept finding stuff, pulling it out, and they contacted a friend of theirs who just happens to be a neighbor of mine who I've met and done some comic book deals with, and he got in contact with me about this, and that's how this relationship blossomed. And yeah, they had me over one day, and I was absolutely mind blown by, like, just the stuff that they were pulling out. Books that I had never seen before, you know, Golden Age stuff, which it's going to be part of the next video. The next video is going to be the Golden Age stuff. We'll get to that later on. But yeah, basically this guy had decades worth of stuff piled up. In fact, I heard he has a storage unit as well, which they haven't even touched yet. So there might be a part 2 to this. I don't know. But anyway, I pulled out all the Marvel and DC books. I think it's 25 or so books. I'm saving the 3 best for the end, and we'll also talk about money at the end of this video, so stick around for that. But let's get started with the Marvel stuff. It was much more heavily weighted towards DC, so you'll see many more DC books, but there was some Marvel, including this right here, Marvel Spotlight number 32, the first appearance of Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. Awesome book, really underrated book in my opinion. We're talking about a 70s major character Marvel key. No, not an A-list character, but still, I would call Spider-Woman a major character. Great cover as well, and yeah, for some reason this book is pretty inexpensive, but still a great key to pick up, so I had to include it here. Then we got Amazing Spider-Man 361. Even in a collection ranging back to the Golden Age, there's going to be a copy of this book. It's so common, but it's such a big key with such an awesome Bagley cover that it still holds you know, some pretty decent value. There was also a second printing of this book, and I love the second printing. It is significantly harder to find, but for some reason, you know, well, not really for some reason, people just generally want the first printing more, so this doesn't have as high of a price tag as that first printing. Another book from the 90s that just, you know, almost every collection ends up having, Uncanny X-Men 266, first appearance of Gambit. Great one. No complaints about that. And the last Marvel book, yeah, there really wasn't much for Marvel. It was mostly DC stuff and the Golden Age stuff that we'll talk about. We got Giant Size Chillers #1. This is the first appearance of Lilith, Dracula's daughter. Awesome book, and this is a nicer condition one than the one that I have. So I'm going to keep this for my personal collection, and the one that I have is going to end up for sale at some point. So always love to find stuff like this that is, you know, an add to the personal collection, whether an upgrade or the first copy of something that I find. Yeah, that's why we do all this. That's why I do this with comics, buy and sell collections, is to, you know, fund and grow my personal collection. Anyway, on to DC. This one didn't really fit the bunch. You know, most of the stuff was older, like I said, but here's a book from the 2000s, Batman number 635. First appearance of Red Hood, Jason Todd. You know, obviously a very, very cool cover. Character that has gained a lot of popularity over the years. In fact, this character, Jason Todd, he didn't really catch on as Robin, and he was pretty short-lived, but as Red Hood, fan favorite for sure. Then we got, speaking of Jason Todd, his first appearance in Cameo, but this is the big book for Jason Todd because it's a double first Cameo appearance. Jason Todd and Killer Croc, Batman number 357. Yeah, that's all you gotta say about that. These two characters, Jason Todd and Killer Croc, had a bunch of different keys, you know, Cameo and, you know, first full appearance, first cover appearance, second cameo even sometimes. So this is the book, though. This is the book to get for those two characters. And then we're going all the way back to a late Golden Age Batman book. This is from 1954, 55, something like that. 55, I think. Batman number 94. Not really a key or anything like that, but anytime you can find Batman from the mid-50s, it's a solid pickup. A double-digit issue, you know, below issue 100. And it's got this goofy cover on it as well with Robin. You know, it looks like he's accidentally getting swept away in a hot air balloon. Classic stuff. Classic stuff. All right, we're on to, there was a lot of this stuff, a lot of House of Secrets, House of Mysteries, and, you know, I'm a horror guy, and yeah, there was horror, sci-fi during this era, but a lot of 10 centers, which is really cool. Now, this is issue number, what is this, 84? This is the prototype of Negative Man, who is a character from Doom Patrol. This one is not listed on Key Collector. I was very surprised to see this. Maybe they don't really see the connection. Maybe that's since it's a prototype, not like a real first appearance. But this character has the same name and is very similar to the character of Negative Man from Doom Patrol. So, I mean, I gotta think that this is truly a prototype of sorts and should be on Key Collector. So maybe we've got to message them in. This is awesome. So House of Secrets ended at issue 80 in 1966. And they didn't bring it back till 1968 or 69. So a couple years later, they brought House of Secrets back as, once again, more of a horror title, as you can see by the cover here. So this is the first issue back in that realm. Late Silver Age. Still the Comics Code Authority made horror kind of difficult at that time, but a few years later they eased up and we got the boom of Bronze Age horror. So this was a little prerequisite for that, and this is really, really sharp. I think I have it graded as an 8.0, so this might be a keeper again for the personal collection, being a Bronze Age horror guy. I don't even think I have this book in my PC, so that's up for debate right now. Then we got Green Lantern number 201, or rather Green Lantern Corps 201, because they did change the name. First appearance, Kilowog. Solid book, solid character. Definitely could be showing up in the DCEU. I think it's pretty likely, given that we're getting a Green Lantern project, and he seems up James Gunn's alley. This is a book that I've been picking up left and right recently. I feel like I've found it a bunch of times. Doorway to Nightmare, number 1, first appearance of Madame Xanadu. Solid book, again, bronze horror-y kind of stuff, and also, you know, first appearance of a character who was part of Justice League Dark, and a lot of people crossing their fingers that becomes reality someday. Then we got some Wonder Woman, and this is just such a classic cover. Classic chained up Wonder Woman bondage cover. Awesome stuff with this executioner with the axe in the background. love this cover. Love this cover. If I collected Wonder Woman, this would be a keeper. I really don't. You know, maybe I keep it for the cover. Probably not, though. This is probably going on to a new home. As is this big key right here. Wonder Woman 201, right? No, 204, sorry. First appearance of Nubia. Awesome cover. This is a really sharp copy. I actually don't think I've ever owned a copy that is as high grade as this one. So this one might have to go off to get graded. I don't know. I gotta see. Gotta look at the numbers and stuff like that and see if it's worth it. As always, you know, grading costs money and takes time. You got to find a good balance of whether it is worth the return on your investment for the potential grade that it's going to get. Then we got some Jack Kirby goodness here. Can't go wrong with the Demon. #1, first appearance of Etrigan the Demon. Yeah, not much more to say about that. Kirby stuff and a very, very cool character that, in my opinion, really underrated. Great Bronze Age book. Almost in the horror vein here. We'll call that horror adjacent. This one's a cool one. Doom Patrol 99, first appearance of Beast Boy. This is a book that I don't think I've ever owned. I certainly have never found in the wild. I may have bought a copy at like a con or something back in the day, you know, before I sold off my whole collection a few years ago. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, this is certainly the first one that I found in the wild. Great book, obviously. Beast Boy, immensely popular, given his role in the Teen Titans. Then we're moving on to some Justice League. We got issue number 12 here. First appearance of Arthur Light. You know, these early Justice League issues are all pretty collectible, but this one specifically, given the first appearance, is, you know, a highly sought-after one. First appearance of the Queen Bee. Issue number 23? 23, yep. Issue 23. Now, these Justice League books, they're mostly low to mid-grade. This next one is pretty sharp, though. First appearance of Brainstorm, issue 32. I actually have this graded as 7.5. So if you're looking for some nicer Silver Age Justice League, that's one that is going to be up for grabs because it's not really something that I collect. And then we got Justice League 64, the first appearance of Red Tornado. And last but not least, for the Justice League stuff, and before we move on to the best 3 books in the collection, we got Justice League number 75, first appearance of the second Black Canary. Obviously, Black Canary was a character that had, you know, first premiered in the Golden Age, and this is more the Black Canary that we know, the Silver Age Black Canary. And is this early Bronze? No, this I guess it would be late Silver, issue 75 of Justice League. Great cover here too. Love that cover. All right, on to the 3 best books. They just happen to be all Batman, which is kind of what you would expect from a collection like this. And then stick around because we're going to be talking about what I paid and a little preview of what is in the rest of the collection. First up, we got Batman number 234. This is the first, a lot of people call it the first Silver Age appearance of TwoFace. Two-Face never appeared in the Silver Age. He was a Golden Age character that, you know, was around during that time, was in a dozen or so issues, and he was not utilized at all during the Silver Age. This is a Bronze Age book, so this is the first Bronze Age or first modern, first post-Golden Age, whatever you want to call it, appearance of Two-Face. You know, this is very obviously a Bronze Age book. So yeah, that's what I gotta say about that. It's my 2 cents. Either way, this is a great book. You know, this is the affordable Two-Face key. You know, the Golden Age early appearances are very expensive. In fact, you might have seen, I just picked up one at New York Comic Con over the weekend. Not first or second or anything like that, but an early appearance. Nonetheless, this is a sought-after book. Not only that, but it has a phenomenal Neal Adams cover that really helps out the value of this book as well. Speaking of first Silver Age appearances, here's another one. Well, here's one in general. A character that appeared in the Golden Age first and then was brought back in the Silver Age. Batman number 171, first appearance, Silver Age, of the Riddler. Again, another really great cover. This one is pre-Neal Adams, not his time. Infantino, maybe? I'm not sure if it says on here. You don't see a signature, so I'm not sure who did this, but Infantino was doing a lot during this time. Yeah, classic cover, pink background really stands out with Riddler front and center. a lot of people grab these books because they can't afford the Golden Age ones, and the Golden Age ones are, quite frankly, so scarce that when did you ever even come across one? But yeah, this is a solid book. And last but not least, it's funny because the most expensive book, I saved it for last. It's not a first appearance. It is just a classic cover, but it is quite honestly one of the most classic covers ever. Batman number 227. Neil Adams goodness. In my opinion, this is the best Neil Adams cover. I know a lot of people like 251, the Joker cover. This one, to me, is the cream of the crop as far as Neil Adams covers, as far as Batman covers in general, and honestly, as far as comic book covers in general. This is a phenomenal cover, and it is an homage to Detective Comics, I think, like 31 or 34 or something like that, or early Batman detective, rather. Yeah, there's not much more to say about this book. The fact that this book is more expensive than the first Silver Age Riddler, the first Bronze Age TwoFace, that's saying something about the popularity of this cover. Yeah, I already have a copy of this book in my personal collection. It is slightly nicer than this one. So this one probably will be up for grabs. I'm actually tonight it will be up for grabs. In my horror claim say, I figured this was a horror adjacent cover, the Demon of Gothos Manor. It's definitely, a horror story here in this Batman book. So, we've got that going on. So yeah, give me a follow over on Instagram because of that. But let's get into talking about how much I paid for stuff. Remember, this is only a part of the collection. This is the best books of the Marvel and DC half of the collection. And the collection quite literally was about half and half. Marvel and DC, and let's say silver, bronze, Marvel, DC, hero stuff. And the other half of the collection was all romance comics. You heard me right. Romance comics, mostly Golden Age romance comics. There was some Silver Age, there was some Bronze Age, but mostly Golden Age romance comics. Now, it's a niche market. It is a market that is small. There are, way fewer people that collect romance as opposed to superheroes and horror and even crime and war and westerns. But they're out there. I'm definitely going to be keeping a bunch for myself. And I figure, you know what? If I can get a good price on it, let's take all these books home and, have a cool, interesting, different part of my inventory for the stuff that, I don't want to keep, and then also be able to keep some stuff and grow my personal collection in that manner. So, yeah, very excited about that. That video is going to take some research just because I am not super super knowledgeable about that genre. So, stay tuned for that video. It will be, sometime in the next month. I'm going to do all the research, but there's some really cool books in there. Some of them, dating back to the mid 1940s, some number ones, some with covers by, really popular artists and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. That is part 2 coming soon. But let's talk about what I paid. So again, there were 4 long boxes total. 2 long boxes of Marvel and DC and, more recent stuff, Silver Age and up, and 2 long boxes of romance, all romance stuff. I paid $3,700 for everything. There are obviously some really great keys in here, but there's also a lot of stuff that it's going to take some time to sift through and figure out. Basically what happened was I pulled out all the stuff I wanted. We laid it out. We looked at it, 4 long boxes, and I stepped outside. I let, the people selling me the collection converse, talk about what they wanted to ask for it, and I came back in. And now I'm out there thinking the number in my head that I wanted to pay was $3,000. So if I'm paying $3,000 for everything, I was going to be really happy. Now, when I came in, I had no idea what they were going to say. They could have said, we're looking for $1,000. And at that point, I would have been like, well, I could pay you more than that. Or they could have said, hey, we want $20,000. And I would have said, well, I definitely can't be doing that. That would have been, a big financial loss for me. That being said, I came in and they said $4,500. And I said, okay, we are in the realm of the same area, 3,000 versus 4,500. And I kind of explained to them, with Golden Age romance books, since they're less well known, since they're less sought after, they're a harder move. And these people were just trying to get rid of this stuff. And I kind of said, you know, I'm taking all this romance stuff. You don't have to worry about that. You can focus on the superhero books. You know, let's kind of meet in the middle. So we threw some numbers back and forth, and we ended up almost right in the middle at $3,700. And I think that was a really solid deal all around. You know, they still had a lot of stuff that they have been selling off, you know, in other ways, and they were able to move a lot of that. And in addition to that, you know, I ended up certainly with room to sell some of this stuff to make a profit on the stuff that I decide not to keep. So yeah, we're happy, and we exchanged numbers because I did mention before there is possibly more to this collection in a storage unit. So I will be hopefully coming back with not just part 2 with the Golden Age romance stuff, but maybe a part 3, maybe part 4. Who knows? Who knows how deep this goes? Anyway, I have been talking for a while now. Hopefully you enjoyed the little story about this collection, as well as the summary of what I paid and what I might be doing in the future. But yeah, please give this video a like. Help me out with the algorithm. I haven't done a full-length video in a while, so it's definitely going to need to get the ball rolling again. And hopefully it will not be this long of a stretch of time. I hope to do one next week. We'll see what ends up happening with that, but yeah, I'm going to try to do one a week. I promise. I will at least try. I can't promise that I'll be able to, but I will try. Anyway, I appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that stuff, and until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.